Hi, everyone. This is Calvin again with rightthinking.com. Thanks for being here. And today, I may have the toughest video to record that I've done to date. I mean, I haven't done a ton, but honestly, this is going to be a tough one for me because it's totally based on preferences. And I should say that they're my preferences that I give as of today. Today is October 17th, 2026. So who knows, in a month or a year from now, maybe I would say some things different. But today I'm talking about my top 10 favorite records, records ever made by Larry Norman. So in case you don't know about Larry Norman, I will be talking about him a lot on this channel because he's my favorite Christian artist ever, probably. He's made some dud albums that I don't like, but overall, I love so much of what he's done, and just his influence that he's had on the world of Christian rock. Um, he's often called the father of Christian rock, or sometimes the grandfather, but he never really liked that title. And I like the way Discogs describes him, which is that he's an early pioneer of Christian rock, because that is undeniable for sure. I'm not saying he made the first ever Christian album. I will cover that topic in a future video, not today though. But I do know for sure that he's been influential. Just the amount of, like, he has a few record labels he started throughout his career, and the artists that he helped sort of sponsor and get going, some with some experience, others without experience beforehand. So he's just such an influential person on Christian music, especially rock music. We have to talk to him, and it just boggles my mind that in today's world, it seems like when people talk about Christian rock, they only think about going back to the 80s, but there's so much in the 70s and even in the 60s, even mid 60s. You know, there were beat bands and from the UK, the Concords, and others doing Christian rock. So that Isabel lady that did that album, I Like God's Style. So even Elvis. So uh, yeah, there's just so much even in the 60s, right? So I want to talk about my top 10 favorite Larry Norman albums, because he is just so influential in the world of Christian music. Okay. So starting with number 10, I'm going to say it's Christmas Time by Larry Norman. It's just called Christmas Time, but that's a really great Christmas album. I do have a CD copy of it. I'm showing you the image for it on the screen right now. But I really love that it's a great Christmas album. So it's got his classic hit Christmas Time, which will come up in another video that I'm showing in this broadcast. So that song will come up because it was produced earlier on in 1973. But it's got other great songs on too, like Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree is just so awesome. And I especially love Oh Holy Night, that Christmas hymn that's on the album. Just the harmonica that's on there, and just how he has such a total blues kind of twist to that song. And the whole album just rocks from one end to end. Like, it's definitely a Christmas rock album. And so if you haven't heard it, you gotta. I mean, the whole album is on YouTube. You can listen to it, or at least listen to that song, Christmas Time. Listen to his version of Oh Holy Night. It is amazing. Okay. So number 10 is Christmas Time. So coming in at number 9 now is this album, Home at Last by Larry Norman. Okay. This is the single disc version. Larry himself put out a double disc version of the same album right here with that on it. So there's two versions of the album, at least on vinyl. and that is a great one to have. I love Home at Last. So it's recorded with a black gospel choir, and yeah, it has sort of a soul kind of a feeling to it, uh, soul and bluesy as well. Um, Maybe one of my favorite Larry Norman songs is on this album. My Feet Are on the Rock. Just listen to that song on YouTube. It's just amazing. I mean, that slow kind of walk and blues stuff, and with great Christian lyrics. You know, he wrote it when he was very young, but just, my feet are on the rock, how he's planting himself firmly on the promises of Christ. And he refers to Jesus as the rock because scripture refers to Jesus as the rock, right? And yeah, just how we can be confident by standing on the promises of Jesus. And, so he's saying, my feet are on the rock, no matter what happened in his life. Like, if you read the lyrics, he talks about being bullied in school and stuff like that, but his feet were always firmly planted on the rock. So I really love that song. It's amazing. And the whole album is good too. Sitting in My Kitchen is an amazing album or song on there. Again, when that black gospel choir kicks in with their supporting vocals, oh my goodness, it is so good. So you just have to listen to it. That's the bottom line. So okay, my number 8 album is also on the screen, and it's called Gathered Moments of a Moment in Time. So this also is a CD only thing. I wish some of these things would get released on vinyl because I really really prefer vinyl. But Gathered Moments is an amazing album. It was put together by some of Larry's closest friends, and so they took recordings of Larry that had not been released yet. Some of them were previously unreleased songs, and some of them were new versions of his own songs, but we hadn't heard them before. So they collected all these songs and put them onto CD. And so I guess that's how they got the name Gathered Moments uh, in Time from Larry Norman. So it's really good. Like, so many, like it's got maybe the sweetest song I think that he ever recorded. I think he wrote it with Steve Scott. But If I Were a Singer, just wonderful, like folky kind of soft rock ballad. But just if I were a singer and I'd sing this song for you, and just how he talks about giving up his life for unbridled, devotion for God and offering whatever he can, the bits from his own life that he's able to offer God as a sacrifice, right? If I Were a Singer, that's amazing. I really like, for rocking out, I love the song Stranger. Such great lyrics. And that's not an original song of his. It's another song by an artist that Larry helped produce his albums for, but Larry did a cover of it. But I love this version of Larry. Stranger, you can laugh, go ahead and speak with scorn, but I bet you won't be laughing come that resurrection morn. Just But this is what I love about Larry. He's just got so many deep nuggets of spiritual truth to things that he says, and I just love this album. And then there's so many other great songs in there, like quirky stuff. Like, you'll see him interacting with his audience on a few of the live tracks. I saw Larry 3 times in my life. He's dead now, by the way, if I haven't said that, and if it's not obvious. But anyhow, I saw him 3 times in my life. Love Larry. And if you haven't been to one of his concerts, it's too bad you didn't get the chance, because Larry's concerts were great. They were a mix of ministry and rocking out. Like, I honestly came out of those feeling a lot closer to God because of being at that concert. And I also had a good time because Larry could just rock out, especially when the band was with him, right? So there's so much more I could say about Gathered Moments, just so many cool, unique songs, moonshine and everything. So yeah, just go ahead and log on to YouTube and bring up the album and listen to it. Love it. Okay. So next one I'm going to show is Street Level. So there's two versions of it, and I have obviously both versions here. But the difference is the song tracks on side B. So I have the first version, and it comes with a poster and everything, and then there's the second version as well. So uh, Street Level, as far as like music quality, some might criticize it, but what I like about it is like it came out early, like 69, 70, but it sort of shows the raw value of the experience of these teenage Christians in the hippie era, right? And just sort of that raw, sort of guttural kind of music that was hitting the streets at the time. I mean, Larry Norman would often just play his guitar on a street corner, Hollywood and Vine, and talk to people about Jesus. He regularly gave people money, clothing, even that he was wearing. Um, true, true acting out in the way Jesus would want us to. And so Street Level sort of encapsulates sort of that spirit of the age that was going on in the late 60s, early 70s with the Jesus movement. And that's what I really like so much about it. So I would definitely put Street Level in my top 10, and it's number 7. Okay. So next one is So Long Ago, The Garden. So, um, so Larry Norman produced what is called the trilogy, and the trilogy includes obviously 3 albums, right? And I have them all here in my top 10. So I guess that means out of the trilogy, this is my least favorite. Uh, People sometimes criticize this album because it's moody and it's not really too rocky, and it's very uh lo- very steeped in metaphors, and you have to really read into it and understand sort of the time and the things that were going on this time. I mean, he talks about his dreams and things like that. So So Long Ago, The Garden came out in 1973. So this is probably the first version of it. It's a white label promo version of it. I just got that recently this year, sealed actually until it came into my possession. And then this, I just brought it out as a thing of interest. Is It's the French pressing of the album, but the French pressing, they speed up the timing of all the songs. So it actually finishes like the total length of the album. It finishes about 30 seconds, 35 seconds sooner than the official release. So it's just kind of unique that way, right? I'm into sort of unique pressings of albums and things like that. This album is also one of the most controversial ones from Larry because it shows sort of a naked version of himself silhouetted with a lion in the background. So yeah, and then as you might have seen, I've got on the back a 45, which is the 45 release of this. The song is also on the LP, but Christmas Time, the song that I was talking about before. Now, the version on the LP sounds different than the version on the 45, and on the one on the 45 here is the version from the CD Christmas Time that I was showing you earlier. So that's the one most people hear and most people know, and I would say that most people prefer, but there is an earlier version of it on this LP as well. Okay. So so this is the what one of the members of the trilogy. The trilogy, by the way, again, the brilliance of Larry Norman. Like he wanted to sort of make the trilogy into sort of a sequence of the past, present, and future. So one album in the trilogy was going to represent sort of songs and the feeling of what is in the present, and one was going to be from the past, and one would be something representative of the future. So this one from the trilogy is the one supposed to represent sort of uh, thoughts and images and ideas dealing with past issues, right? It kind of makes sense from the title, So Long Ago, the Garden, right? Another thing that I'll say about the Larry's trilogy albums is he made sure that on every trilogy album that the last song that he sings and the last line of the last song is the title of the album. So this album's called So Long Ago the Garden. So that's what it is on this one. I believe the song's called Nightmare Number 97, and the last line of that song, which is the last song on the album, the line is, "We left it oh so long ago, the garden," right? So just think of the creative brilliance that this guy has, to have the last line of an album become the title of it, and just to piece that together, not just on one, but to do it over three albums and have them sort of interlinked like that with the past, present, and future, right? I've heard Larry compared sort of to the creativity and the craziness of David Bowie, and I don't think that's an unfair comparison at all. Yeah, so anyhow, Larry Norman, So Long Ago the Garden. That's my number 6, I believe. So the fifth one is the last one that I have in CD format, and so I do not have anything to show you other than the picture of it that's on the screen now. But A Moment in Time came out in the 2000s, and this is a really good bluesy kind of album. I mean, it's not all blues, but he's got a couple of songs on there like Long Hard Road. I mean, that's more rock than bluesy, but it has blues undertone. It has maybe my favorite guitar solo in any of Larry Norman's songs on that, Long Hard Road. So if you want to Google Larry Norman Long Hard Road, go ahead and listen to that on YouTube or Spotify. It's just amazing guitar solo, and it goes on and on and on. It's like you're just sitting there rocking out to really great music. So, and then there's another song after that called Lay My Burden Down, and that for sure is a very slow walking, bluesy kind of album, right? So, you know, Satan is our enemy, darkness is his power, right? So, again, just some key theological little gems that he drops to us in such few words, and who else can really do things like that, right? I mean, Larry was just so brilliant. I'm so glad I met him and went to his concerts and things like that. So anyhow, so that is my number 5. So at number 4 is probably my favorite live album from Larry is Live at Flevo. So Flevo is a province in the Netherlands, and so Larry is very popular over in Netherlands for sure. He had a big following over there and did lots of concerts there. Spent a lot of time there, and Flevo had a Christian concert series there. Other Christian artists have also gone to the Flevo festival. Anyhow, so this is the vinyl version of it. There is a CD version of it on it that has a couple more songs. But of course, me being a vinyl enthusiast, I got to have the vinyl for sure, priority. I also have the CD, but Live at Flevo, I mean, he does a live version of My Feet Are on the Rock. Amazing. So I mean, just go on YouTube and watch it. Like you can see him performing it at the concert, just his stage presence and everything. And he does a different version of it than on the studio album I showed you earlier. The studio album, it's you know, clean and pristine, and it's slow walking kind of stuff, but this one is more upbeat, and it's yeah, it's more of a rocking out version of it, right? And then he does this medley of Everybody Work, and like midway he jumps into Beatles mixes and things like that. And yeah, Everybody Work. If you don't know what I'm saying, go home and pray, read your Bible, and die every day. Everybody work, right? Work your salvation out. So this is, yeah, for sure my favorite Larry Norman live album from Larry Norman. It's live at Flavo. Hard to get that one a little bit these days for sure. Okay, next one is probably my favorite blues album that's around, and this is Something New Under the Sun by Larry Norman. We in the Larry community just call it SNUTS, the acronym for it. And there's actually 4 versions of it. This is the fourth one. There's a U.S. pressing, Canadian pressing, and then 2 versions of the UK pressing. So the US and Canadian one have the full amount of tracks on it, but the UK version, they both contain one less track on it than what you'd find on the US and Canadian. It does not contain the track "I Feel Like Dying," which I actually love. To me, it sounds so Led Zeppelin-y, that song for sure. So I don't know why the UK version didn't put it on. It's funny, on one UK version, so not this one, but on the jacket on the outside, it does list the song as being on the album. But then when you play the album, if you're trying to confirm it, it's definitely not on that album. Okay, this one, this is the other UK version, and it is not on the jacket or the label for this one at all. I also picked this one because it's got a unique label that are not on the other 3. The other 3 have the same label, but this one has a unique label. So this is why I picked it for this example. But this is a concept album. Okay, so again, Larry's just creative. You know, he wrote a rock opera when he was with the band People on their first album, right? Yeah, just so amazing. Like he never names the character in this, but there's one character that starts out on the first song all depressed and hating his life and not knowing his value or worth as a person, as a creation of God. And then he's stumbling through life and decides to try and take his own life. And then he's saved. And then just side B rolls into talking about the joy and even the responsibility of being a Christian. And it's all with one character, right? And Larry just does it through all these songs, and they're all such good blues rock kind of songs. I just love this album. My only regret about it is that a single was left off of the vinyl. You can get it on the CD version of this album called 12 Good Men. And even though I just mentioned that I thought I love that one guitar solo from Larry Norman, Long Hard Road. If there's any guitar solo that would rival it, it would be the guitar solo from that single, which never made it on this album, the single 12 Good Men. I love the guitar solo on 12 Good Men. Maybe more, but because it's just so much more bluesy than Long Hard Road. Long Hard Road. I mean, I like them both. I like them in their own way, but yeah, 12 Good Men, just the way they work the slide and everything. Oh, just I love I just love it. Larry has given us so much good music. So anyhow, that's Larry Norman's Snuts, or Something New Under the Sun as the real name. That's number 3. Okay. And then number 4 is this one, In Another Land. So back to the trilogy. So the trilogy are those 3 albums that Larry produced. So this is one of them. This is the one that deals with future issues. That's why it's called In Another Land, right? And just like So Long Ago the Garden, In Another Land is the last line of the last song on side B. So it's called Hymn to the Last Generation. And it says, He will guide us in another land, right? So again, just the creativity of it. Now, this album, there's a version of it that Larry wanted pressed, but dealing with um, the company that he worked with on it, Word, that's a Christian label, they didn't like some of the tracks, so they removed it. So if you can get the Larry version of this album, which I have a cassette version of it, and I have the CD version, and I'm about to get the vinyl version of it. But it has 2 songs that are not on this album. Looking for the Footprints, which is a fuzz-based rock song about, looking for the footprints of Jesus and following him and walking in his footprints. Uh, and it doesn't have very many lyrics to it at all, but it's just so awesome, fuzz lace dripping with awesome guitar in it. And then it's got a unique song called Top 40 Survey. So that should have been included. In fact, I think the leaving out Top 40 Survey really guts out what the original intent of this movie of this album was. Um, but the album starts out with the title track, "The Rock That Doesn't Roll." So again, an amazing Larry track. If you don't know, haven't heard "The Rock That Doesn't Roll," you just have to listen to it. John Lynn is on lead guitar. He was an amazing Christian guitarist. So, um, yeah, so look at that. But just it's a celebratory song about life in Christ, and Jesus is a rock that doesn't roll, right? So we can trust him. He's stable. Our faith in him is stable. He doesn't change, right? He is the rock that's described in the Bible, but he doesn't roll. And so there's that allusion back and forth now to rock and roll itself, because back in the day there was all this controversy about whether Christians should even listen to rock and roll. Ha ha ha! What a dumb debate. Anyhow, the answer is yes, by the way. So, uh, and he's sort of just harping on that we can do that. Jesus is the rock that doesn't roll. I mean, Larry's fundamental belief is that rock and roll came from the church, and somehow it got stolen by the church, and then somehow the church decided that they didn't want to be part of it. And so Larry's mission was always trying to bring it back to the church with Christian lyrics. So the rock that doesn't roll. But on the real version that he intended, Top 40 Survey comes right after that. So it goes from this celebratory rocking song to the stark kind of a song. It's not really. It's just him changing the dial on a radio, so you hear changing stations. But of course, it's purposeful. So it goes through a thing of little snippets of music from the time, and then also quotations of political events going on at the time. But what it does is it transforms the album from the first song, which is present tense and celebratory, but then into this sort of future mystical and unknown world, right? Because Top 40 sort of jars you and it takes you to that next step. And then all of a sudden you're listening to UFO by Larry, right? And it goes on. Another great song this album is 666. I wish someone would go on American Idol or whatever and do a cover of 666. It's such a great song. So yeah, it's meant to sort of preview future things and look at future things. So Larry's album In Another Land is really great. It's hard to get the vinyl version of his version of it, but you can certainly get the CD. It's on Discogs from time to time. So okay, the last one, I'm sure you can guess what it is now at this point, but this is Larry Norman, Only Visiting This Planet. So this is the other one from the trilogy. So this is the one that deals with present issues, right? And I've got a, DJ copy. It's a gatefold. It's a white label promo, and I've even got. You can see this. This is an invitation. So when Larry first recorded it, the people at Verve wanted to have a private showing of the album. So Larry did that and performed all the songs on the album for a private showing for the executives of the record label. And so that's an invitation to that event that came with this. I'm so lucky to have it. It's white label promo and it has that invitation to it and everything, right? But this album is so important. It's been noted by the U.S. Registry for uh, I forget exactly, but it recognizes artistic creations that have valuable commentary as a commentary on social life of American, uh, the American nation and culture at that time period. And Larry's album, this one, is the only Christian album that's ever been put into that category of having that kind of level of significance, right? So this album is one that many Christian artists who came after Larry into the 70s and 80s will tell you that it blew their mind when they heard it, right? DeGarmo and Key will talk about how the Outlaw was influential on them. That's on this album, right? I mean, Why Don't You Look to Jesus, which is the lead track off of this album. Larry wrote that when he was with his band People, and they were opening for a lot of the big hippie bands in California in the late 60s. And he saw Janis Joplin off to the side, sipping whiskey and pouring it into one of those paper funnel cups that we used to have when we were younger, and she would just drink from those paper cups. And so he wrote this song, uh, like for Janis Joplin, sipping whiskey from a paper cup. You drown your sorrows while you can't stand up. Take a look at what you've done to yourself. Why don't you put the bottle back on the shelf, right? Gonorrhea on Valentine's Day. You're still looking for the perfect lay. Why don't you look into Jesus? He's got the answer. And then it gets even more controversial. Um, Gonorrhea on Valentine's Day. You're still looking for the perfect lay. Think rock and roll will set you free. You'll be deaf before you're 33. Shooting junk till you're half insane. Broken needle in your purple vein. Why don't you look into Jesus? He's got the answer. I mean, what Christian artist talks about drug use and, purple vein and broken needles sticking out of it? I mean, no one has the courage of it. Don't even get me started on how I hate 80s Christian music because it sort of became safe and no one was willing to really take chances in what they talked about. So that's a whole big other topic that I'm not talking about today. But anyhow, if you haven't listened to Only Visiting This Planet, you have to. It's just so super amazing. Okay. I should say too that, by the way, that the title of the album "Only Visiting This Planet," like with the other trilogy albums, that line comes up in the last line of the last song, Reader's Digest. And actually, I have a legal license to use that song. It comes on at the end of all my videos here. Uh, that's sort of the outgoing fading track of Reader's Digest in it. And so you'll hear the words at the end of all my videos, which are from that album, from that song. What a mess the world is in. I wonder who began it. Don't ask me. I'm only visiting this planet. So, yeah, Larry's brother Charles, who holds the license for that, I was able to purchase a license agreement to use that song. So, okay, I'm good friends with Charles. He's a good guy too. So, I just thought I'd do some honorable mentions here. So they're not in my top 10, but certainly if I was doing 15 or 20, they would be. So the first one is this is Larry Norman's first solo album, Upon This Rock. This is the Capitol version of it. There's a few different versions of it. I actually want to get another Capitol version of it because there's different versions within Capitol. So if anyone has the LA pressing of this album and wants to sell it, let me know. But because the mix of the music is slightly different, so I kind of like the LA pressing of Capitol. So anyhow, this is a great one. Recorded late 1969, came out in 1970. But I mean, Moses in the Wilderness, Sweet Song of Salvation, a lot of the early hits, Wish We'd All Been Ready, which I don't really like too much. I think it's sort of overused, and it's also pre-trib doctrine, and I'm a post-tribber. But anyhow, yeah, this is a great album by Larry, and there's several versions of it. So that's an honorable mention that should be considered. And then this one, Streams of White Light into Darkened Corners. So you may have heard me say on another video that in the 1970s, Jesus was very popular, and a lot of people were sort of covering religious kind of songs, right? Norman Greenbaum, Spirit in the Sky. Well, Larry was looking around, and these artists, their lifestyles weren't adding up. Rolling Stones, Shine a Light, right? Beatles, Mother Mary, Come to Me. And so he decided to re-record a bunch of these albums into this album, Streams of White Light into Darkened Corners. So this is other artists' albums of the time, usually from the 70s, that deal with religious matters, and Larry re-records them, but with true spirit and intent behind them. His good friend at the time and fellow Christian artist Randy Stonehill, they team up here. So Randy pretends to be like an over-the-top California DJ that's just being ridiculous over the microphone. And then Larry is the artist that's re-recording these songs, but with real intent behind them. So, and I had Randy sign my copy of it there. So, and then the final honorable mention is another live album from Larry Norman called "Stop This Flight." So, if you never got to a Larry Norman concert, you should listen to Live at Flevo or this one, because I just love how Larry talks between songs, and this one is just so good and so amazing. "Stop This Flight." Um, yeah, it's got a love song on there, and just I like how he sort of plays with the audience, right? To try and bring up, you know, assumptions people had at the time and deal with them at the microphone, and he made people laugh and everything. So anyhow, yeah, I would definitely put this in my honorable mention as well. "Stop This Flight" by Larry Norman. So there's more that I could say about honorable mentions, but I think that if you go beyond 3 honorable mentions, and you're just dragging things, so I'm not going to do that. But I say that because, trust me, there's many more really good Larry Norman albums that are out there. I'll probably talk about some in the future. So why don't you tell me what your favorite ones are, your top 10 or even your top 5, and let me know what you think of my list. I'd like to hear your comments and get discussion going. Larry is such an important artist that he deserves lots more recognition and lots more discussion by the fans who love and adore him. I can't wait to see him in heaven. I have prayed, sometimes when I pray to God, I pray that when I get to heaven, if he would allow me to be in a blues band with Larry Norman, and we could just play blues music in heaven all the time, right? So it's kind of a crazy prayer, but whatever. I like blues rock, and that's what Larry played, and I would love to be in a band with him, playing with him, right? So it's whatever. It's a crazy prayer, but maybe God will honor it, right? So maybe I'll be too busy doing other things, but anywho, hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe. I'd love to hear from you. Until I talk to you next time, take care. Bye-bye.